All right, welcome back to season 6 of our show, and today it's all about Southern style. And I feel that every country has a touch of Southern style. No matter where you're from, there's a southern part of that country. Today, we're taking you back to Southern Italy. We're showing you beautiful pork ribs with pork butt. Let's show you how to get it done. So today we're making a pasta dish with ribs. That's right, we're making a pasta dish along with these beautiful ribs. So you're gonna need 3 racks of ribs. I happen to be using 3 racks of ribs, but you could just use 1. We're using a gorgeous pork butt. This is about 8.5 pounds, so you want to go in with a decent sized pork butt because you want to feed a lot of people, especially with something like this. We're also making a pasta to go along with that, and these are some of the ingredients right here, which we'll go over later and show you that. So the first thing we want to do is season up our meat. So right here, I've got fennel seed, which is used in Italian cooking, oregano, and rosemary, dry thyme. So I'm going to take these and mix them together. Just like that. I'm gonna go in with my thyme. So once you get them mixed up, now here's your rub. Now I'm gonna go inside our grinder with this. This is a coffee grinder, which comes in great for stuff like this. I don't grind any coffee in it, and afterwards, either clean it out real well or don't grind any coffee because it's gonna taste like nothing but spices to you. So I get them all in. Let's get the remaining. As you can see, it holds a lot. All right, let's get the lid on. Just pulse it a few times, and then let it go. And then let off. So now, what you're gonna get is a very fine powder. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Look at that. Stop buying rubs. Make them yourself. They'll be fresher, more pungent, and you'll always wind up with a good spice. All right, so we're gonna put this off to the side. Now here's my salt and pepper. I'm gonna go on with some pepper and some salt. So always salt and pepper. Some salt. And just knock yourself out with that. Nice amount, each one. Let's just turn this over. Now I got one hand not so clean, so I'm going to switch over and just use my other hand. I'm going with these spices, a little bit more salt and pepper, and just get a good amount on there. Now this is going in the pressure cooker, so you're going to need a lot of this, and pick up what's ever left in the tray too. So I'm going in with a great amount of that salt and a good amount of that rub. And just pat it in. And get it all on there. A little of this goes a long way. So just watch your ratios because you won't need that much. Especially with oregano, things like oregano, it goes a long way. So we're gonna move that around. And we're gonna leave the rest of this in here because we can just dump the rest of this right down into our cooker. So just make sure you rub that in real good. All right, now we're done. So we got that seasoned up. Let's bring in these ribs. And I'm just gonna move over these ribs. And I'm gonna go in with the rub. Now with the ribs, I don't put salt on my ribs. You can put salt on yours, but the way they feed the pigs in this country, you won't need the salt. So I'm gonna go with that, a little black pepper. And I don't ever salt my ribs. Now years ago, I used to salt my ribs, but nowadays I don't because I find the ribs to be very salty nowadays. So they're putting more salt inside the feed. All right, so here's my black pepper. And that's it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get these seasoned up. I'm gonna get cleaned up. I'm gonna meet you guys right back here and show you the rest of this, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so our meats are seasoned up and now it's about timing. So we started our cooker and those ribs are going on. We're cooking real hot and real fast today, so about 1.5 hours for those ribs. Same thing for this roast. We're cooking this roast in a pressure cooker. We're going fast with it today. And it's gonna take about 1 hour in here to cook, so you wanna time everything so everything comes out right. Let's get this roast cooked. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is make our stock and cook that roast at the same time. So you're gonna need some onions. So we're going in, make the pieces big because you don't want them to fall down in the stock. So I'm just gonna put them right inside the pressure cooker. And basically what I'm doing is I'm making a bed for the roast to sit on. So just like that, in fours. And take a look down in there. That's how you want that. And then we're gonna take the celery and just leave it just like that. We're gonna take our roast and on top of this beautiful bed. So right on top of the celery it goes. It's got some height on it. And we're gonna get some water in. A lot of it. So I'm gonna bring it up to the top of the roast, just like that. Maybe just a little bit more right up to that fill line. And that should be plenty of stock. All right, we're gonna pressure cook this and meet you right back here and get started on those ribs. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our pork butt is now cooking away and we got one last step before we get these ribs onto the cooker. So this was the rub I put on here. Now you see how powdery that is? We want to get rid of that powdery stuff. So we're putting on some avocado oil. And we're just going to rub it in good. And look what happens to all the spices as I rub it in. They kind of melt down into the meat, right? And that's what you want. I'm leaving the membranes on the back because it comes out to be a better rib with the membrane on and it doesn't dry out. And you crunch right through it anyway. You cut it right, cut right through, you're not eating the membrane anyway. So I take it off. And this flap will leave in everything on this rib. So don't take anything off unless you want to make rib tips. And you can make those after they're done anyway. All right, so just rub that in real good. Now we're also going to baste these as we go along. And we're going to vinegar baste them. And we're using some vinegar and garlic to baste these up. Hey, it is Southern Italian, right? So we're going to show you a beautiful vinegar base to baste these up with. So let's get this, and this is it. So I'm going to finish rubbing these up and we'll meet you out onto the cooker. Don't go anywhere. Let's get some ribs on. All right, we're rolling with the Weber. I cook on whatever grill I can put my hands on first. So I'm just going to put the smaller end away from the fire. There we go. Just get them right in there. And there you have it. We're cooking about 300 degrees. Hour and a half. All right, ribs are on the grill. It gives us time to make a beautiful garden salad. I'll show you how to get it done. So we're making a cucumber and squash salad. So here's our cucumbers. You want them about this size. And squash. Now you want the smaller cucumbers and you want the smaller squash because especially with the yellow squash, it's not going to be as nice going into a salad. So I'm just going to take my peeler and peel the cucumbers like this. Just like that. And just peel them any way you want, but just get some lines on them. This way they look attractive in the salad. So we're gonna go like that. I'm gonna take my knife and cut the ends off. Then I'm just gonna cut them like this. And then into this jar we go. So the reason why we're putting them in the jar, they're only gonna be in here a few hours. We're just gonna jar everything up. And we're gonna hit them with some vinegar to get some vinegar flavor on them, or in them. And you want that vinegar in them because you want that vinegar basically just to stay inside them. If you put the vinegar on the top, it's really not gonna be vinegary. And you want the salad very vinegary. So I'm gonna peel them down like that. If there's any blemishes on there, these were fresh out the garden. I have a friend, and I'm lucky enough to have a friend that has a beautiful garden, so I don't have to grow my own. I do grow my own herbs, which we'll show you one day. And I do those from my balcony. All right, so let's just get this off to the side. And I'm gonna just chop these up, just like this. So we're gonna get this full, get them nice and mixed up, and then we'll meet you back here, show you the amount of the vinegar that's gonna go on. And we'll make a beautiful marinade to do the ribs with, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so we have our vegetables nice and jarred up. So in with a couple of bay leaves, just off to the side. And coriander seed, you're gonna need a good amount of that. Pinch of salt. This is gonna help flavor everything that's in here, especially the cucumbers. A couple of more pinches. Vinegar. Now I'm only going a couple hours with this, so I'm using more vinegar than I am water. So I'm gonna go about 75% of the way up with vinegar. And the rest with water. Just like that. I'm gonna let this sit out for about an hour. And then into the refrigerator it goes for the next hour. So 1 hour out, 1 hour in, and they'll be nice and chilled down. And we'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so now that our ribs are still on the grill and our pork butt is still in the pressure cooker, it gives us time to fine tune this meal and really get this salad beautiful and get those ribs gorgeous. Let's show you what we're doing. So I value my time in the kitchen, and the first thing that I do is create a system. This way I'm not running around. So the ribs are on the grill, this is in the pressure cooker, and what do we do from here? We want to make everything as easy as possible. So I want to make a marinade for a rib, so I'm going in with a little bit of vinegar, that's white wine vinegar. And I also want to finish up my salad, so I'm trying to kill two birds at one stone here. So I'm using parsley, rolling up some nice Italian parsley. I'm just going to give it a fine chop. Now this is going to go onto our ribs. We're basting the ribs with this. So you want to just get it as fine as you can. This is going to add a whole bunch of flavor to those ribs. Give it that nice earthy flavor. And something that we don't find in our country, but someplace, and maybe southern Italy. All right, so we're going to get this right in. And then we're using some garlic. There's another thing that you don't find in our part of the woods in southern cooking. Is we don't put garlic, fresh garlic, onto our ribs. We might put garlic powder, but never use fresh. Why? I don't know. I know I do. And I suggest you guys make it yours and do the same. All right, here we go. So I have a brother, a church member, and we cook together. We cook a lot. And he finds my cooking style very interesting, and I find some of the things that he does extremely interesting, so sometimes we feed off of each other. And that's what you guys need to do as chefs, home cooks. Just feel it out and go by your instinct. And if you think something's not going to taste good, don't put it in. Don't experiment, because food is way too expensive to experiment with today. And just go by your gut. Go by your gut instinct and your palate. All right, so we got that there. Marsala, and that's pure masala. That's not cooking wine. That's wine, Marsala wine. You don't want to use cooking wine because it's filled with junk and salts, and it's not real wine. All right, I'm going to feel this one out. Like I said, I'm going to go with a little bit more masala in here. And it's going to cook off. And it's just going to really flavor those ribs up beautifully and give them a really unique flavor. And like I said, just feel it out. I've made this dish 100 times. All right, so that's our marinade. That's off to the side. Here's our cucumber salad. I'm chopping up some red onion. And I want to get them in cubes like that, because I want them to go down into our salad nicely, and I want them to kind of mimic what's in here. All right, I'm gonna bring in a bowl, and in that bowl I got some cherry tomatoes, and these are our cherry tomatoes, so I just taking them off the vine like that. Runaway cherry tomato. So just get them in and just feel it out. Now the cherry tomatoes, I don't like to cut these up because I feel like when you cut them up, they just lose something. When you bite into a cherry tomato, it just gives you that burst that just tastes so refreshing that I don't like to really mess with them. So I'm gonna just get this cut up and then in with it. So I'm gonna judge this out. I'm gonna look and I'm gonna say, take a look at this. So how much onion can I get in here? Would one onion be too much for that? I kind of think so. Would 1.5 be too much? Way too much. So I'm just gonna go about that much, so which is basically a half of onion. And I'm gonna ratio it out. And when you put the salad together, as long as you're putting your salad together in 2 parts and you don't throw it all in the salad immediately, you can back out of the deal and you can go in with whatever you want. There's nothing holding you hostage. You're not obligated to the salad at that point. So there you go. I'm gonna give this a little spin. And now, again, I'm gonna feel it out. And I feel, which is gonna go great with the salad, is fresh dill. So I'm going in with some fresh dill and I'm just gonna pull it just like that. And I feel this is gonna just mix beautifully in the salad and give it that fresh flavor that's from southern Italy. It is a Mediterranean salad, so why not go with Mediterranean flavors? And dill happens to be one of the Mediterranean flavors that's used a lot in Mediterranean cooking. All right, so we're gonna pull this off of the stem here, and then we're gonna meet you out on the grill and show you how to baste that meat, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, it's time to baste these. Now, take a look at the way I do this. See the spoon? Now, most people would have a spritzer, which I have a spritzer, but not for this. Now, the reason why I'm not spritzing is because I don't have to worry about messing up a coating on here. You know, a lot of guys will pack this with a bunch of rubs, and they'll put all the rub on there, and then they're worried about ruining the rub or the bark. Well, we don't have to worry about that, so why are we spritzing? So I'll just go on just like that. Get plenty of it on there. And that's what I call a real baste. See that? And use the back of the spoon. And you're all set. There you have it. How fast did that take? And you got a lot of it on there. All right, I'm gonna close back up, meet you back here. Before I do that, I just wanna get a little bit more on that end. There it is. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, our pork butt is out of the pressure cooker. Let's show you what to do from here. Take a look at this. That is a gorgeous roast. Now we're gonna take this, and for now, we're gonna put it onto a platter. I mean, this is fork tender. And the flavor that's on this is amazing. So we're gonna leave this on the platter like this. And now, here's the bone that came out of that. We'll just put that off to the side for now. But look at all this stuff left behind. See all this? There's some meat here. Now we're just gonna shred this meat up. And then we're gonna make a nice little sauce to go along with this. We're gonna take out any fat that we don't want in here, like this piece right here. We'll take out that fat that fell off this roast. And then any stragglies that are around here, we're gonna make a beautiful sauce out of. And then we'll put that inside our sauce. And then we'll put some sauce in that roast. And we'll show you how to get all this done with some nice vegetables on the side. So here's our vegetables. We got the Italian flag here. Bell peppers, red, green, and white. We got some pasta here. Garlic, and more garlic over here because we didn't finish our garlic bread. Those ribs are about to come off, and then we got tomato paste here. So let's cook. All right, so we started rendering down onions, garlic, and the bell peppers. So it's been on the stove for about 5 minutes now. I put the garlic in first. And then I put everything else in about 3 minutes later after I started to smell the garlic and not let the garlic burn. All right, we're going in with fresh oregano. That's what this pot calls for, fresh oregano. And I'm gonna pull out the stems at the end. So we'll get that in there. We're gonna go in with some tomato paste. Good douse of that. Maybe a little bit more. And we're gonna toast it up. Get the oils up in it. So you really wanna bring out the flavor of the tomato paste. And bring all the oils out of it. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be a bit flat. So there we go. Give that a couple of seconds. I'm going to jack my heat up since I'm cooling down. And just when you see the tomatoes start to release some of the oil, I'm going to get in my liquid here. So here is that beautiful broth that the meat came out of. This is 100% broth. And I'll get some in little by little. So we're gonna get in about this much. We're gonna cook it down. And we're gonna see how our ratios are on adding more of the concentrated tomato paste. And the reason why I'm not using a fresh tomato sauce is because this is a meat sauce and I only use fresh tomatoes when there's no meat involved. And there you have it. So we're gonna cook this down a little bit and get it nice and thickened up. And then we're gonna meet you back here when we get the right consistency. So stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so our sauce, our gravy is coming along pretty good here. So oregano, you need a handful. We're gonna put that in. So we have the fresh, but you need the dry too, because the two mixed in together is a beautiful flavor. And I'm going for a light sauce tonight. I'm not going for a really thick gravy. And I want this to be light over the meat and over the pasta. And there's times I like a thicker gravy, but not with this meal. Maybe spaghetti and sausage, I like a thicker gravy. But with this meal, I want this to be very light. And look at the consistency. See it? So it's not too thick. I gotta tighten it up a little bit more and that's about it. We're gonna meet you back here. First, we're gonna cook a little bit of bread and pull those ribs. We'll meet you right back. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, we got enough smoke and heat. It's time to wrap these. Whew, a lot of smoke. Nice smoky fire. Look at these ribs. See? They're looking right. They got some good bend on them. And now, I'm gonna put them right in here and wrap them up. Now, I don't wrap my ribs like most people wrap theirs. I put them in a tray like this. And I wrap them from here. Just let some air get in there, let them breathe. Matter of fact, I'm gonna move them over here. Let's close my hood for a second. And now I'll get them wrapped. We're about an hour and 5 minutes in. And I'm gonna let these go probably about 30 minutes. About an hour and 35 minutes, these ribs are done. And I like mine with a little bite. I am not into mushy ribs. And there it is. A lot of people like their ribs fall off the bone. Not me. They gotta have enough pull and enough bite. More bite than pull, because I don't want to be tugging at it either. The worst thing is to fight with a rib while you're eating. That's it. I'm gonna hit it with another piece of aluminum, and that's it. You'll save a lot of aluminum this way, and they'll come out perfect. So why you individually wrapping them? If anybody knows why that's done, let me know in the comments. All right, let's get them on. And just like that, a little bit closer to the fire. There you have it. We'll meet you back here. Let's go cook. All right, we got all of our meats done, our sauces done. Now it's time to bring it home with some drop bread and pasta. I'll show you how to do it. So we're making a beautiful drop bread. We're using garlic and oregano. And this is a hot water bread. Now you guys seen me make this before, but I'm gonna show you this one. So some garlic, as much or as little as you guys like. Oregano. This is fresh oregano. So it's got a lot of kick. And that garlic too. See, I love garlic, so I'm going in with all of the garlic that's here. I know, it's gonna fry up beautiful in that bread. And that's the beauty of this bread. Now, if you were baking this and the oil wasn't gonna hit it, you're not gonna get that flavor out of the garlic. But since we're frying it, you're gonna get all the flavor out of it. Let's get some water in here. So that's all-purpose flour. I got 2 cups in here. Baking soda, baking powder. 1 tablespoon of each. We're just gonna mix it till we get the right drop bread consistency. We're almost there. So you want to make it so it's easy enough to work with so you can drop it right into the pan and your hands stay nice and clean. A little bit of salt in here too. But make all the ingredients yours, like I said. All right, see that? Just like that, in 2 seconds it comes together. So I'll be able to get this on spoon and drop it. All right, we're gonna meet you onto the stove, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we got our water boiling for our pasta. And right now we're about to drop in some bread and show you why they call it drop bread. And that's why. I'm going to just do a couple at a time and finish up the batch. So we're going to fry this up a couple of minutes aside, about 2 minutes aside. Pasta's going for about 8 minutes, 9 minutes. And then we're gonna meet you guys right back here. Plate up for you. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so these are done. I'm just gonna show you what they look like. And that's how you want them right there. I like mine a little bit on the dark side, but that's it. I'm gonna pull these in a couple of minutes. They actually took about 4 minutes aside, so a little bit longer than anticipated, which is all right. We've got nothing but time. All right, we're gonna meet you right back here. Pull that pasta out, stick it in some sauce, and we're done. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, that bread's out of the frying pan, and now we're gonna show you how to put this meal together the easy way. All right, so here is our beautiful sauce. Take a look in there. It's looking right. Now this is the consistency that you want, just like that. So it's not too thick and it's not too loose. So what we want to do is take another pot. We're going to take a ladle and we're going to get some out of here. And the reason why we're getting some out of here is because we need this to go on the pasta. So we're going to put a good amount over here, just like that. And we'll hold some back to the side. And now here's that meat. So right now it's lost a little bit of temperature on it, but it's still at room temperature. So what do? We take it, just like this, and we go right into the sauce with it. And now we're just going to cover it up and let it warm back up on its own, sitting in the sauce. Just like that. That's all you need to do. And then put the lid on it. We're going to put this pot right here. So here's our ribs. And we took those off of the cooker, and look how they look. They're looking right. So now these are really hot, but we're going to cut into them for you guys. So we're going to bring some over to the bench, and we're going to start to slice. Now I'm going to flip them over to the back. I'm going to start going right down, just like that. And look how tender these are. And these are extremely tender. They got a beautiful smoke ring on them. And I'm just going to cut them up. And then we're going to plate them up, just like this. So on the plate they go. And we'll just stack them. So that's how we're doing this. And when we come back here, we'll be ready to show you the entire meal and eat for you guys. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, first things first, let's assemble our salad. All right, so we emptied out all of the vinegar that was in here, so now it tastes pretty vinegary, but not too much, because it only made a couple hours in here. So we're just gonna get this into a large mixing bowl, just like that. And any pieces that get stuck, we'll get those guys out too. All right, so now we got that. Olive oil. We're going to put some olive oil on the scene. Now, this is a classic Italian salad because it's vinegar and oil. We got the vinegar inside this nice salad. The cucumbers taste like vinegar. The squash tastes like vinegar. And now we're going to add this mixture to the game. Remember this? This is the mixture we made. So we're going to add this in. Now we want this salad as close to a salad as possible. So very simple, rustic salad. And there it is. That's it. That's the entire salad. I think I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more extra virgin olive oil. Just like that. Never go wrong with too much olive oil. And look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic? All right, let's get into a bowl. Just like that. And we're gonna get some height on it. Probably thinking I've made this before, right? Our ratios are spot on. All right, so here it is. And we're just going to get it situated. And just make sure it looks pretty when it's being served. And everything just kind of floats on the top and you got all your colors separated right. The greens, the yellows. Put some yellows where the greens are, and the greens where the yellows are. And there you have it. And now we've got some feta for the top of this. I'm just going to sprinkle a little of that feta on, just like that. And then you can serve more at the table. Just leave it out, and everyone can put their own feta on. So there it is. One beautiful, rustic, old-fashioned salad. Can't go wrong with that. All right, we're gonna put this to the side and show you the rest of this meal. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we're just draining our pasta. And we're going on the al dente side with it, which means heart to the tooth. Now as I'm draining, I'm gonna get some sauce in here. Put my fan on. Add some sauce. Mix it up. Just like that. This way it's all coated while it's hot. And don't put oil in your pasta, and never rinse it. Just go straight in just like this. All right, I'm gonna finish this up, and we're meeting you guys to go eat. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to season 6 of our show, and it's Southern style, Southern Italian. Let's show you what we got. Take a look at these ribs. They're looking right. And that salad. It's done. And we got this beautiful butt roast. We parked some pasta in the back, and we got that fried bread, that fried garlic bread. Let's get into it. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna bring in a salad plate. So we got a huge spread for you guys tonight. And we're just gonna plate up first with a little simple salad. And look at this. This is so easy to make. Fresh, delicious. And this is old school, oil and vinegar. We put some feta cheese in there. And you cannot go wrong with a nice fresh old school salad. Let's get a little bit more in there. And there it is. All right, so we're just gonna move this in front, and we're gonna bring in a bowl and a plate. So we're gonna park some ribs on here. I'm gonna grab a couple of these nice ribs and throw down with these guys. I like the smaller ones as well too. We get those guys in there. And a couple end pieces, why not, right? And then we'll garnish with just a little fresh oregano there. There we go. How nice does that look? All right, let's look at that roast. So I'm gonna carve this guy. So let's just go right in. And we got a nice end piece here. Look at that. Let me show you how tender this is. See that? It doesn't get any more tender than that. All right, so the way you serve this, you gotta take a spoon. Let's get some pasta in here. So I'm just going in the bottom of the bowl with this. I'm not going to overcrowd the bowl, but let's just get some in there. Followed by some sauce. It's in the pot here. We're going to sauce up again. Clean that plate up too. Spaghetti sauce. So let's do this. Let's get our plate cleaned up. Make sure we got a beautiful presentation for you guys. All right, so now that we got that organized, let's get into this meat. So I'm going to take a couple of pieces of that and just park it right on the top. It's a very filling meal because we got a lot of pork in here. And that's a solid plate. And I'm going to clean up again. And then we got some fresh basil here. So I'm just going to rip it and just dance it around the plate. All right, and followed by some fresh Parmesan cheese. Can't go Italian without the Parmesan, right? And I think we'll park some fried bread right on the side of this plate. I got some dark, some light. I'll bring this one over. Look at this. Beautiful, right? We'll just park that right on the side of those ribs. All right, let's try that pasta. That has got to be my favoriteest way to have butts. Pulled pork, I've eaten a lot of it over the years. It's been excellent, but my favorite overall is just like this. It's not greasy, it's very meaty, tender, outrageous. All right, let's try those ribs. That rib is tender, juicy. The base that we put on there, you can taste that through and through. It's excellent. For a rib that's cooked in less than 2 hours, you have to try that. That is a fantastic way to cook and a fantastic way to have ribs. Try that salad. That has to be the freshest way to have vegetables. The cucumbers, the squash, they took on to that vinegar or the oil so well. All the spices and seasonings we put in there. It's a phenomenal salad. All right, let's try that bread. Last but not least, that beautiful bread. If you're not careful eating that bread and that salad together, you have to be. Because a couple of bites of that salad and a couple of bites of that bread, before you know it, I can feel it now, it's going to be gone. And then you won't eat all the rest of this beautiful meal. That bread is outstanding. All right, we're going to get organized and meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. One outrageous way to have Southern Italian. We threw down with some fresh vegetables, some squash, cucumbers. We added a pasta to this dish using a pork butt. I hope you guys try that one. That one's amazing. And the pasta alone, the sauce that we made from the broth of the pork butt, that is definitely a must try. And that bread, fried up with garlic and fresh oregano. That is a definite must try with this entire meal. We thank you guys and we enjoyed you coming. And like always, no further ado, gotta get that last Pitmaster taste there.